Hello. So, welcome. Here we are again. Discover Tai Chi for limb power, seated and standing. So, let's get started. You know the rules. Work comfortably. Take a rest if you need to. I'll do my mix of seated and standing exercises. I'm going to start standing up. So, here we go. Hope you've had some good days. Some of you have had some very busy days, it sounds like. So let's do a three-part progression with our opening. So first of all, chi shi, but just up to shoulder height. Just there. And then back down again. And again, think about chi shi as finding your space, finding your place, and kind of owning it a little bit. So maybe a breath in. And then out. And this is where we go into the second progression, where we open up. It's called opening our hearts. And then back down. Again, if you wish, you can breathe in with the movement. And then out as we lower the hands. Once again, breath in. And out. Okay, third, final progression, overhead. So we're coming up, and then the hands come down. Have this sense of growth upwards, whether you're seated or standing. So you're growing up from your seat or up from your feet. And then there's a sense of settling, chen and sung are those words that we're after. Settling, letting go on the down. We'll do it one more time. Excellent. Okay. Sometimes when it's been busy, Helen and I, my Helen here, we've had a particularly busy week, and sometimes it's useful to kind of get into a different headspace. So that's where 5 animals play comes into effect. So 5 animals play is a Daoyin, or as we might know it, Qigong set that is probably one of the oldest physical therapy sets in the world. Dates at least over 2 millennia. And we start off as a bear, rolling our shoulders, one after the other. If you can get your torso involved and even get some weight shift going from one side to the other, I want you to embody that notion that you're a bear who's waking up and kind of grumbling as it wanders down the trail and gets going. So again, these are quite nice movements because we get to inhabit 5 different characters, so to speak, or personalities. Roll those shoulders backwards now. Big rolls. The more you can get the torso involved and even rolling your weight from one side to the other, the better. And we're going to begin to make those movements smaller, and we'll gradually bring all of that rolling to a halt. So there's our first bear movement. Okay. Second movement, second animal, tiger. So now we get to embody a powerful, live, big tiger. So we've got our tiger claws. We're going to use them to reach down. Again, whether we're seated or standing, we're going to dig our claws into an imaginary rug, the rug of the earth, and we're going to pull it up. And then we're going to push overhead. My hands might disappear, but we're going to take the blue sky like a blanket and pull it down, but like a pull-up. And then we're going to push down. getting ready to take the rug of the earth once more as we pull up. Could be with a breath in. And then breathing out. Again, it's called Tiger Awakes. So again, have this thing in mind that you are a tiger, doing that stretchy thing that cats do on a morning. If you watched cats, or if you've ever got a cat, you'll know what I mean. They've got their own kind of little routine. Let's do it one more time. So embody that sense of a big cat as we bring the hands down. Excellent. Third animal, a cheeky, playful monkey. Okay. I want you to picture the scene that you are in long grass. And at the moment, no one can see you because you've got your head down. Okay. We're going to use our little monkey paws like so. Thumbs come together with your finger pads. And we tuck everything in. Elbows, wrists, everything is tucked in towards the torso. Okay. So whether you can or not, I want you to imagine that we lift our shoulders up round our ears and that we're looking over the top of the grass, and we look to our right and we lift the shoulders as much as we can, turn back to the center, and then we let those shoulders drop and we drop all that tension. And then once again, imagine that you grow, look over the top of the grass, look to the left, see if the coast is clear. Shoulders up by the ears as much as you can, and then let all that tension go. So we're purposefully being tense for a moment and then letting it go. Let's go again to the right. So we shrug our shoulders up. We get tall. We look over the grass, look to the right. The coast is clear, so we come back and let the shoulders go. Here we go again. Looking up over the top of the grass, this time to the left. Shoulders up and then down. We're going to do this one more time. I know it's quite a tricky move to do and hold, but shoulders up. Looking right and back down. Okay, one more to the left. Shoulders up. Look over the grass. No one's there. The coast is clear. Who knows what mischief you're going to get up to? We'll see. So that was our third animal, cheeky monkey. And now we move on to our fourth animal. And now we're a graceful deer. We want to imagine that we have a very large crown of antlers, and we're going to represent our antlers with our hands. We can bring our middle finger and ring finger together, and these are my index fingers and little fingers, so those represent your antlers. If you find it useful, you can stick your thumbs out, and that gives you an even bigger crown of antlers. So what we're going to do, whether you're seated or standing, bring the hands up. You're going to sweep them to the right and then down to the left. Form those antlers, and then you're looking to your right, so you're going to sweep the hands round in those hand shapes, looking, turning gracefully as you do so, and then you're going to unwind. So you've got to have a bit of a high hand. Bring the hands down, across to the opposite side, form those antlers and sweep them around. You've got one hand overhead if possible, and the other hand down below. So you get quite a twist and a turn. I'm going to just do it seated, so just so you can see which side were we on. Let's go to this side, doesn't matter. And then I'm turning, so head and hands turn together. If you've ever come across a deer in a forest, they have that knack of turning and looking over their backs at you as they get ready to disappear. I know Kate has lots of deer who visit her garden, so she'll probably know what I mean. Sweeping the hands from one side to the other, and we turn hands and head equally. So we get quite a turn through the back and shoulders. But all the while, I want you to imagine that you're a graceful, elegant deer. Oh, that's done my back some good. Let's have a rest. Okay, I'll stay seated for our fifth and final animal, crane, big bird. So now we're going to be poised, balanced, tall. Even if we don't feel particularly tall, I want you to have those ideas or notions in mind that we are tall, elegant, poised, and balanced. Okay? So again, whether we're seated or standing, I'll do this seated. We're going to bring our wings. These are our feather tips, our fingers, and we're going to take a wing beat just up to shoulder height. And then back down. And again. And there. On this next wing beat, we're going to shift our weight to the right. And then come back to the center. On the next wing beat, we're going to shift our weight to the left. So you can see that I'm getting weight on my left hip. Okay. This time we're going back toward the right, only this time we go for a very big wing beat overhead. If you get the backs of the hands to touch, so much the better. And then back down and re-center yourself as you do so. Same on the left. Weight shift towards the left. Hands high overhead if at all possible. And then back down, re-centering as we go. Okay, let's have a little restful wing beat. No weight shift, just gently. Okay, here we go again. To the right, just to get the weight shift. No big lift just yet. Same on the left this time. Just a weight shift, but no big overhand lift. Okay, so imagine we're going to get higher in the sky. So we shift our weight to the right, but we do a big wing beat. And then come back down. And then the same on the left side. Here we go. Up. Wonderful. I hope you've got the idea that you're flying. Okay, 3 gentle wing beats just to bring things to a close. I want you to kind of imagine that you're now coming into land. Here's the second one. Just slowing it down a little bit. And on the last and third wing beat, have this sense that you come back down to earth. Very gently, no crash landings. Excellent. 5 animals. 5 animals play. So that's hopefully a really nice way of maybe getting into a different headspace by taking on the characteristics of different animals. Okay. So 5 animals. Let's wander back, shall we, into some shibashi movements that we've been learning over the past, I think this is our 20th week now. So, gosh, we've been going on quite a while now. So I'm going to push my right foot forward, whether you're seated or standing if you can. And we're going to be a breeze blowing through the willow trees. So we're just now very gently sweeping, swinging our arms. You can maybe have a bit of a lean forward again, whether you're seated or standing, if you can look after your balance. But have everything very loose and relaxed in the upper body. Just breathe comfortably and just be that very lovely breeze blowing through a willow tree. Okay, one more on this side before we swap to the left. Here we go. So I'm just pushing this left foot a little bit further forward, leading with the left hand to get my hands and arms swinging. And again, if you can get a little bit of weight shift, so much the better. Appreciate it can be tricky and a challenge. Okay, one more and then we'll come to a rest. Again, just a nice movement that kind of evokes, again, something different from our daily headspace. Let's bring some rotation into our movements, okay? So it's kind of similar to what we've done with deer, but only this is fisherman casts his net. Once again, we have a high hand. This is my right hand, and my left hand is low. Fingers pointing to the left, palms facing out. If I was to turn to the side, you can see that my palms are facing out, and I'm turning to the right because the right hand's on top, and then I swap hands around and I turn to the left. So again, we're getting some very useful rotation. You may have seen something like this in real life. I don't know, maybe on a holiday or maybe on a documentary where a fisherman stands on a bow of a boat and sweeps out a net in one big graceful sweep of the body. Try to have that in mind. So you've got to balance on a boat and cast the net out onto the water. And then do it on the other side as well. But we get some really good rotation through the trunk. Again, whether we're seated or standing. Let's do one more. I'm going to come back to the center. And let's just come to a rest a bit. All that idea of being on a boat could be quite precarious. Okay, but we'll keep the ideas of rotation in mind and we'll do wise owl. Okay, so we're turning to the right and lifting the hands and arms. And then we're just letting the hands fall away. And then we're doing the same on the left. Looking, turning, and then coming back to the center. If it feels right to you, you can have a breath in as you turn and lift. And then breathe out as we come back. Or you can just focus on the movement. Just let your breathing settle in the background. Okay, one more on the left. And we'll come to a rest. I'm going to sit back down again just to join those people who are seated or watching later from a chair or seat. And we will do some dragon clawing, yellow dragon. Okay, so this is where we make this dragon hand as if we're about to reach out and grasp something. Hands can start on the knees if we're sat down, or just by the sides if you're standing up. But we're bringing the fingertips just up, brushing the fabric of your clothing up. Permission to stick your elbows out, roll the hands over into that dragon hand. And if you can lean forward, whether you're seated or standing, even just a little bit, as if you grasp something just at the extent of your reach, and then you just relax back, fingers brushing up, elbows out, roll the hands over, and once again, reaching forward, grasping something out in front of you, and then slowly drawing back. Once again, if you wish, you could have a breath in, followed by a breath out as we reach forward with both hands. Get quite a stretch through the back and shoulders. Here we go again. Reaching, grasping, looking forward. One more. Got a fluent movement. And then back. So really kind of getting the shoulders opened and stretched. And here's another movement that does that. A little bit of rotation, but it's more about being tall again and reaching up. So again, whether we're standing or seated, I'll start seated, but I'll then stand up. So full moon, up on the right, just forward. So I'm turning to look up at the moon, and then I'm taking the hands and arms up to the sides, over the top, bringing the moon round to the front, and then bringing it down carefully. Letting the hands fall away. And then the moon is now up on the left side. So I look up, open my hands and arms wide, get some weight maybe on that left side, reach up, bring the moon back, and then back down. So without jeopardizing your balance, I want you to have this sense that you're reaching as far as you can. Here I go. I'm bringing weight onto my right hip, reaching up, bringing the moon back down. And on the left, reaching up and bringing the moon back to the front. I'm going to stand up and do another couple of movements just to demonstrate. Okay, so the moon is on my right side. I'm looking, I can bring some weight onto that right leg as I reach up, tall as possible, so tall that my hands definitely go out of frame. And then the same on the left side. Up, over the top, really opening the shoulders, and then back down, like so. It should feel as though you've been stretched somewhat, and that you've really kind of opened the shoulders quite significantly. It's kind of hopefully quite a nice movement. Okay, I can see that time is beginning to move on. So I'm going to finish off with gather celestial energy, gather Earth's energy. Okay, a familiar set of movements by now, I hope. I'll do it standing, but if you're seated, you can start with the hands on your knees. Standing, start with the hands just hanging loosely. bringing the hands around, palms down, looking up. Again, we're looking up to a night sky. Hands go overhead, and we bring some stars back down to earth. And we gather our stars. And maybe with a breath in, we just hold on to them for a moment. And then as we let our breath go, we've got to let all those stars fly away. But then we bring the hands up out to the sides and we wrap ourselves in the blanket of the earth. So picture all the colours and the textures touching the collarbones. Momentarily just hold that and then let the blanket fall away as well. Here we go again. Gather celestial energy, looking up to the sky, bringing some stars back down to earth. Gathering those stars. Maybe with a breath in and just a momentarily we hold on and then we let them go. Off they fly. Here we go. Last time. Take that blanket, wrap yourself in that blanket. So you've got all those notions of enclosure and warmth, and then we let the blanket open and fall away. And then, as we've been doing so quite recently, we'll bring thumbs together, bring the hands to rest just on the lower abdomen. Maybe take a big breath in, let it go. Maybe let the eyes rest at the same time. And then just breathe. Just let the breath do its thing. And just rest in that space. Just for 30 seconds or so. Bringing everything back. And then we just part the hands. And that is that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to stop the recording. We'll be here next week. Let me just come forward and do so. There we go.